So y'all, it's your boy eBay Fight Predictions in the building. I'll be breaking down Robbie Lawler versus Nick Diaz. A great fucking fight. Obviously, the rematch. They fought a while back, like really long ago. But really dope fight. But y'all see what I'm wearing? I'm wearing red and black. I That can mean one or two things: a blood or a funeral, and it means both. This is gonna be a bloody funeral for Nick, and I know. I've had a really tough relationship with the Diaz fans, and here's the thing: I love Nick. Nick is my boy, right? I shouldn't say I love Nick. I like Nick a lot, right? And he's my boy. But if I'm being honest, when I really started watching him fight, first fight I ever saw him was against BJ Penn. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's his last win. And then I saw him fight Condit, and then I saw him fight St. Pierre and Silva, right? And those were kind of I think that's it, those are the fights I saw. And obviously I heard about the Paul Daly fight, but I mean, these are all like a long time ago, right? It's 9 years ago, 6 years ago. I'm all grown up now. You know what I'm saying? No disrespect to Nick, but he's a great fighter, or I guess no disrespect. It's not disrespectful to Nick at all what I'm about to say, but for me, I'm a fan of him obviously, and I do think he's more legit and championship level caliber fighter than his younger brother Nate, in my humble opinion. But if I'm being honest, and I see this a lot, I don't think there's a lot of real Nick Diaz fans, and I might say I'm a fan of him, but I'm not even a real one. I only saw fucking four fights, and out of that four, he only won one time. Obviously, the Silva fight was a no contest, but I mean, it is what it is at the end of the day. But obviously, growing up, I did hear about the Daly fight, going into that Condit fight, and some people they think Nick won. And I did think that too a little bit, but it was a really close fight. And just the fan base just got to let that one go. It is what it is. Condit got the victory. You just got to accept that. The St. Pierre fight, domination. St. Pierre did his thing, and this was, like, in my humble opinion, the first time St. Pierre was ever mad at somebody, and he beat him. And in the Silva fight, I mean, it was, Silva did his thing, and Nick was doing a lot of dumb stuff, with all honesty. But I say it again, Nick is a lot better than his brother Nate, and I do respect him. He is not a bum, but I think he's gonna get slaughtered in there against Robbie. It's been a long time since he's fought. It's been 60 long years since the last time he fought, and the last time he won was 9 years ago. So that's crazy, right? But what Robbie, I've been a fan of this guy for a long time, and that was kind of my big point. I might like Nick, but I love Robbie. Now, Robbie, I'm not going to say I watched all of his fucking fights, but I saw that second run he had in the UFC, all of it, right? And what he was able to do in that second run, I mean, he was people forget, he was a literal, Strike-Force reject. And, watching him destroy Josh Koscheck, it was crazy to me, because he had lost he was a middleweight, obviously. And I think the Lorenz Larkin fight, I think it was a welterweight bout, but, he lost to Lorenz Larkin, lost to Tim Kennedy, Jock Ray, not obviously good name, lost to Jake Shields, but, he wasn't that guy in Strikeforce, but, he obviously had that Melvin Manhoef victory, but when he, made that second run, and, I don't know if it was, him partnering up with Matt Hughes. I don't know if it was the American Top Team connection, but something clicked in him, and, he just had this resurgence, and he just has one of the, great resurgence stories up there with, Jan Blachowicz, and he just never, ever gave up on himself, and he came back and beat guys like Josh Koscheck, knocked them out in the first round, vicious ground and pound, by the way, and, dude, like, Koscheck was a guy that contended for the belt, at the time, he was the A1, or I guess, I don't know, A2 or something like that, I don't know what it is, A2, to GSP's A1. He was right there with GSP, just couldn't beat him. He just couldn't figure it out. He kind of became a gatekeeper a little bit. Then knocked out Bobby Vickers, and then he had that crazy first fight with Roy McDonald. That fight was crazy. And it was a split decision. And then he had the fight with Hendricks, and this fight with Hendricks, everyone doubted him. Hendricks, here's my thing. I really like Hendricks. Don't get it twisted. Hendricks was crazy cool. Dude, his knockouts, blood, like he was just killing people back in the day, man. People forget how good Hendricks was, and I don't know what caused the fell off, or what caused him to fall off. That's what I mean. But he was good, and what he did to John Fitch, blood. Oh my God, it was crazy what he did to John Fitch. Like, I was like in my seat, like, yo, he just did that to John Fitch. Like, he knocked him the fuck out, blood. And it was insane. But he was just the next Georges St. Pierre, because he had the fight with Georges St. Pierre. Everyone thinks he won. I thought he won. Obviously, I might change my mind if I rewatch it again. But watching it live, I felt like he won that day. And but he. He kind of reminds me of Dominic Reyes a little bit. Just the only difference was Dominic's fall off was a lot more sad. Hendricks' fall off was, I don't want to say it was more respectable. He had 2 crazy fights with Robbie Lawler. He beat Robbie and he got the belt, so that's what makes him a little better than Dominic. Dominic never got the belt, but they look very similar. I always noticed that they look so similar. But the thing with with Hendricks was that first fight with Robbie. And I was really rooting for Robbie now, and it was so heartbreaking. And I respect Hendricks. Hendricks was a monster back in the day, and also he beat an AK. Goddamn racetrack outside, but what's it called? But he beat an AK legend and John Fitch. So I obviously I had some, I wasn't a big fan of him because of that. But he had a phenomenal fight against Robbie that first time. Got the takedown in the 5th round and kind of clutched it. And Robbie just shook his head. I was like, fuck, man. If Robbie just would have poured it out in that 5th round, it would have been good. And that's when 5th round Robbie Lawler was born. And he went in that second fight and fucking went for it, blood. Like, he went for it. And obviously, he had fights in between, right? He had the Jake Ellenberger victory. He had the Matt Brown victory, right? Crazy fights, by the way. Really underrated fights, too, where he wasn't going to be denied. And, he fought Hendricks, and he poured it out in that 5th round. He gave his whole soul to that. And how can you not be a fan of Robbie? Like, Robbie is just a legend of the game, And that's something you can't hate on. He pours it all out. Even if there's fights where, like, he kind of didn't perform to his ability, he still pours it all out. And he poured it all out against Hendricks in that 5th round. And Hendricks was like, bro, chill out. Like, leave me alone. But it is what it is. And then he had that fight with Roy McDonald, which was fucking madness. And they're just going back and forth, round after round. And he ends up breaking Roy in the rematch. And in the 5th round, breaks his nose. Then it has that crazy fight with Condit. And even though I felt like Condit won that fight, that 5th round was crazy. He poured it all out in that round. So it was nuts. And then obviously, he had all these crazy fights, and it has to, it all has to add up, right? All the damage. You can't just take damage. Eventually it had to add up, and he fought Tyron Woodley, and Tyron Woodley gave him that smoke. And it was a beautiful punch he caught him with, knocked him out clean, and then obviously them punches later, and there was a lot of heat going into that, and I felt really bad for Robbie, And is Tyron a snake? I don't know. I would say more American Top Team is just a snake ass gym. What they did to Robbie, and posting that picture of Woodley winning. Maybe Woodley's a little. You hear things about Woodley being somewhat of a snake. From Hector Lombard and stuff like that, but I don't think Woodley is a snake though. He's done a lot of good things for his friends, and I think it was just one of those situations where the team obviously didn't know how to handle the situation with Robbie and Woodley. So I blame the team more than Woodley. But Hector Lombard came out and said, Woodley's a snake. But I don't think so. I think Woodley's a good dude. And I'm not going to disrespect Woodley on this platform or on my channel. I like the guy. Got nothing against him. I've had my problems with him, right? But I'm not gonna be mean. But yeah, obviously, loses to Woodley. Then he gets a fight with Cerrone at welterweight, and Cerrone was coming off that, I think, Masvidal KO, and I don't know. It was a close fight too, and he got it done. He did it a lot in the clinch, and that was his last victory. That was in 2017, so he hasn't won in a minute. So this next 4-fight losing skid is something really important. So I really look at it as a 3-fight losing skid. I don't think he really lost the Ben Askren fight. I felt like Ben kind of just lucked out, but it is what it is. He has the loss of Dos Anjos. Dos Anjos just put that pressure on him. The Askren fight, obviously, he was gonna kill him, man. The Bulldog choke. It is what it is. Respect to Ben for getting it, but we all saw what happened that day. The Colby Covington fight was just pure domination. And the Magny loss was just kind of sad to watch. But he took that fight on short notice. He looked flabby. He didn't look in shape. But I feel like in this fight, he's gonna look in good shape. But if we go all the way back and we talk about the first fight with Nick Diaz in 2004, first round, UFC 47. It's on. That's what it was called. It was Nick's night. Nick was longer. He was talking shit, to Robbie, and he kind of got in Robbie's head, and I think he messed with Robbie a little bit. And he got the victory. Nick got the victory. And respect to Nick for doing it and doing it the way he did. And he knocked him out. No questions about it. But I think if we just look at the stats, right? I think Robbie is the number 15 welterweight in the world. Got a record of 28-15. Is 39 years old. Height of 5'11", and a reach of 74. Nick, 26-9, fights out of Stockton, California, age 38, so he's a year younger. Height of 6 foot, he is taller, and a reach of 76, so he does have the longer reach. And that was the thing that was kind of, giving Robbie problems, but Nick is just one of these slick guys that he is a legit dude, and he does box with Andre Ward, and I know friends that I know boxing coaches that will bring their some young amateurs or just bring boxers to spar with those Diaz brothers, and they say they give them great work. I always hear good things, even though I might not be the biggest fan of those Diaz brothers. From what I hear in the boxing circles, boxers respect the Diaz brothers, and they're tough. They're tough guys. I give them that. And Nick is legit. I will always say Nick is legit over Nate. I will always keep it at that, but it's just one of those things where, like, I don't know, man. He hasn't fought in a long time, y'all. He hasn't fought in a long time. Robbie has something to prove. He's going to be super, super motivated. And I think the fans are just expecting something completely different. Nick, I like Nick a lot, but he takes more damage, in my humble opinion, than Nate. Nate at least kind of has a little bit of head movement, and he tries to get out the way, but Nick he just goes forward and takes punishment, and I don't know if what he can do to Robbie in terms of just outpacing him, outworking him, like how kind of Neil Magny and how Colby did, but those guys wrestled, right? I guess you'd have to look at the Dos Anjos fight, but where they just put a lot of pressure on him. But Robbie, even in that Dos Anjos fight, I think he tore his knee. So it's kind of like you have a lot of circumstances. I feel like the best Robbie we ever saw was, in terms of just shape, was the Colby and Ben Askren one. If you just look at his shape for those two fights, and then the Magny fight, he looked like a shell of himself in that Magny fight. And I just personally feel like Robbie is going to come out here. He's going to have a point to prove. He's been working with Stanford MMA. They're not going to let him go outside. Like, I know Henry Hooft is not going to... They finally given someone near his age, and I feel like he's going to perform. And I just trust in Henry Hooft and those guys. And Greg Jones, they're not going to let Robbie go outside. And I think they wouldn't have advised him to take this fight if they didn't think he could win it. And I think Robbie can win it, man. And I think Robbie can win it in spectacular fashion. I truly believe Robbie can hurt Nick. I really do. Robbie has legit volume power, but it's just if he decides to use his volume, and if he's just, it's his night, and he's feeling that rhythm, and that's where it comes down to with Robbie. I just don't know if he can bring back that guy that fought Condit, that fought Roy, where he's just feeling it and he's feeling good. And I don't know if it's an age thing or youth, but I feel like when he's fighting this level of competition, Magny, Colby, RDA, who else? And I'm not gonna say Askren, but or Woodley. He's fighting those guys, and obviously they were a lot younger in their prime. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be fucking hard. But with somebody like Nick, who hasn't fought in a long time, there's gonna be jitters, right? I don't care who you are. There are gonna be jitters, and I think it's gonna be a bloody crucifixion. I truly believe Robbie's going to end Nick, and it pains me to say it to a certain extent, but and the Nick fans are talking a lot of shit, and I don't get why they're disrespecting Legend and Robbie, which is fucking and I'm trying to not be disrespectful to Nick too, but it kind of makes me like, wow, all right, y'all want to diss Robbie like that? That's really okay. I see how y'all feel. So I think Robbie gets him out of there in the third round. It's a 5-rounder, so you never know, but I gotta go with Robbie TKO. I think he can get him out of there, even though it's hard. I just feel like the layoff, I think it should favor Robbie. I think Robbie's been more active. He's fought better competition. Guys who fought for world titles, and Colby Covington, right, and RDA too. So that's how I look. I'm gonna take Robbie by third round TKO. But hope you guys enjoyed the video. It's your boy eBay Fight Predictions. Actually, no, I'm gonna take Robbie by decision. I would love for him to get it would be crazy if he got the TKO, but it would be crazy if he got the TKO. But I'm gonna take Robbie by decision. I changed my mind. I'm gonna take Robbie by decision. But yeah, besides that, yeah, that's it for the video. Robbie by decision, because it's like, man, it's hard to KO those dudes, man. Those dudes do not fall. But Nate got clipped by Josh, so that's the only time he's ever been finished. But besides that, obviously, that's it for the video. Go follow me on my Instagram. Go follow me on my Twitter. All those links will be down below in the description box. It's your boy eBay Fight Predictions. And yeah, if you're new, subscribe, like, comment, share the video, and let's get this eBay Fight Prediction Nation growing. Love y'all, and goodbye.
It's more exciting because I showed everyone I'm a true fighter. I come to fight. No matter what happens, I keep coming, and I'm trying to knock people out.
You showed patience and maturity.